What's going on, everybody? Time for the NFL Week 9 edition of the Power 5, where it's time to buy low on a team that is rarely such a short favorite. We'll look to sell high on a team that I don't think is nearly as good as its one-loss record. And for our Power Play of the Week, we'll take a rare look at a team total. Oh, by the way, you're going to want to stay tuned for our Stat of the Week as well. You will not believe just how inept one team has been in first halves this season. But first, as we always do here on the Power 5, we start by bringing up the WagerTalk.com odds screen and taking a look at how the market is moving. Games I will not be hitting on in any other section. Minnesota versus Atlanta. Falcons have gone from -1 to -4. They actually went as high as -5 at one point. Total down to 37.5, open 41.5. This is the first of a number of games this week where we're dealing with uncertainty at the quarterback position. With Kirk Cousins done for the season, the Vikings are forced to go with Jaren Hall. The Falcons, meanwhile, are turning to Taylor Heinicke in place of the ineffective Desmond Ridder. I suppose you have to ask yourself, just how much do you think Cousins is worth to the spread? Were he playing on Sunday, I would have the Vikings as slight favorites here. That's with Cousins. It's a tough game to handicap for me. Easy one to stay away from. Ravens, moving on, they are out to -6 against a Seattle team that probably should have lost at home to Cleveland last week. Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson, pretty impressive, 17-1 straight up versus the NFC in his career. I'm not sure if that speaks to defenses being unfamiliar with him and him having success or what, but the bottom line is Baltimore, when Lamar Jackson's in there, have dominated non-conference games. Now, to Arizona at Cleveland, the Browns out to -10 with Deshaun Watson starting. That pretty much takes them out of a viable teaser range, although the Browns should remain a popular pick for Survivor this week. Another popular Survivor team is going to be the Saints. They're up to -8.5 against Chicago, still in a viable teaser range. The standard Wong teaser going through 3 and 7. You could take them down to 2.5. The Saints offense really been humming along as of late, averaging almost 450 yards over its last 3 games. So looks to be a favorable matchup there against the Bears. Bettors certainly like the Saints' chances. Houston has gone from -2.5 to -3 versus Tampa Bay. We've got a similar line move with Washington and New England. Commanders head coach Ron Rivera very much has the look of a man that will soon be typing Indeed.com into his search bar. Patriots up to -3 against the Commanders after opening -2. There were even some 3.5s earlier in the week. Tough to lay points with the Patriots, though, even as tenuous as Rivera's job status may be in the nation's capital. How about a total on the move? Colts-Panthers. That has gone up to 44 after opening 42.5. Colts, believe it or not, are the only team in the league to have scored at least 20 points in every game this season. Giants-Raiders. That's a very ugly game. Daniel Jones returning at quarterback for the road team while their hosts have a new head coach. Las Vegas, even starting Aiden O'Connell, remains the favorite, which I guess speaks volumes about the G-men. Rounding Sunday out, everyone seems to be hopping on the over for Bills-Bengals. That number is up to 50.5. Cincy looked great, obviously, last week on the road against San Francisco, springing an upset, while Buffalo's defense has looked a bit shaky in recent weeks, mostly due to injuries. Now, for more analysis on the Monday night game, which is Chargers-Jets this week, be sure to tune into the Hustle Pod with Mark Zinno and myself. Two of us talk Monday Night Football every week here on WagerTalk TV. If you're subscribed to the WagerTalk YouTube channel, then you'll be instantly alerted when that video drops. Typically, it's mid-afternoon on Monday, and we have been on fire with our player props on that particular show, Mark and I. Okay, now to buy low, and I'm looking at the Chiefs in Frankfurt, Germany, of all places, facing the Dolphins. This line got as low as -1 before we saw some buyback on the Chiefs. So bettors apparently thinking the same thing I am here, that this number is probably too short for Patrick Mahomes, who was off the worst game of his career, bothered by a flu bug. Obviously traveling overseas, kind of ill-timed when that's going on. And I know in a video earlier this week, previewing this Sunday morning matchup, I said teasing Miami was probably the way to go here. You can still do that, but the more I look at things, the fact that Chiefs are 8-0 off their last 8 losses, all 8 wins by more than a field goal, that would have me laying the 2 in this situation. Mahomes 19-6-1 ATS as a dog, or favorite of 3 or less in his career. Plus, the Dolphins have not beaten a team with a winning record going back to week 3 of last season. So the Chiefs are this week's buy low team on the Power 5. Sell high, the 7-1 Eagles, who I have power rated as only the 7th best team in the league. Don't be mad at me, Philly fans. It's just the way it is. Philly -3 against Dallas in a big NFC East showdown during the 4 p.m. Eastern window on Sunday. I know Cowboys Dak Prescott, the quarterback for the Cowboys, he takes a lot of flack. Dak, flack. You can see how I flubbed that sentence. But did you know that Prescott 28-7 straight up in his career versus the NFC East with a 61-19 TD to INT ratio? That includes 8-3 straight up and against the number versus these Eagles. The Cowboys, I give them the defensive edge in this matchup. They have the better year-to-date point differential, and I can smell outright upset here. How about them Cowboys? Sell high on the Eagles, -3 versus America's team. Let me know if you agree by commenting down below. Even if you disagree, let me know by commenting down below. And while you're at it, if you are enjoying the Power 5, go ahead, smash that like button. I thank all of you for your support each and every week here. Okay, stat of the week. In first halves this season, get this, Green Bay is averaging only 4.1 points per game. 4 points before halftime each and every week out of the Packers. Whew. Don't think the Jordan Love tenure is poised to last as long as either Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers, his two predecessors, in the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. And speaking of Lambeau Field, when Green Bay is at home this year, they average just 2 points per game in the first half. 2! That's really horrible, to be quite honest with you. This week, the Packers at home facing the Rams. Might the first half under be worth a look here. The Rams, keep an eye on this situation. They could be starting Brett Rippon in place of an injured Matthew Stafford. Stafford considered day-to-day. The Rams typically have been very poor when Stafford doesn't play. I believe Sean McVay's record 3-7 straight up. The first half under, getting back to that, if you like how that sounds between the Rams and Packers, that number currently sitting at 19.5 for this matchup. By the way, this is pretty interesting. While Green Bay does have the second worst first half point differential in the league, they're actually second best in the second half, so they're pretty good at, after halftime, those adjustments, but the problem is they're digging themselves an early hole. Now, before we get to the power play of the week, did want to let you all know I am on a 26-12-1 all sports run right now at WagerTalk.com. Number 1 over the last 3 days with a 10-3-1 record. Seeing them well, especially in the NFL. 6-2 run. And Thursday, we hit the first leg of a teaser with Tennessee. Yes, another teaser. Incredibly, I was 8-0 with NFL teasers in the month of October. I'll let you know the second leg of that teaser. I took Baltimore down for -6 to a pick'em. Just need the Ravens to win straight up, and that would be 9 straight winning NFL teasers for yours truly. Now, if you want the next 9 NFL Sundays of action from me, not to mention the rest of the college football regular season, the majority of the bowls, NBA, where I'm off to a 7-3 start, college hoops, which tips off next week. I was number 3 overall in college hoops from late January all the way through the NCAA tournament. And then soccer, where I have the number 1 win percentage and ROI this season. Then be sure, if you want all of that through the rest of 2023, you can take advantage of WagerTalk's end-of-year special, where for less than $59 per week, you get everything I just mentioned. NFL, college, NBA, college hoops, soccer, all of it. Just less than $59 per week. You'll get every play I release from now all the way through December 31st. Just head over to my page, wt.buzz/BP, to take advantage. So I just mentioned I'm on a red-hot 26-12-1 all sports run with client releases. Speaking of red-hot, how about the power play of the week last week here on the NFL Power 5? That was Jaguars money line. That cashed as well. This week, I'm going to look at a team total. Told you that at the open. And it's Arizona under 14.5. I don't see how the Cardinals, likely with Clayton Tune starting at quarterback, do much of anything against the top-ranked Browns defense. Yes, there are rumblings Kyler Murray might play here. I don't think he's going to. If he does, I would hold off. But with Tune, Arizona clearly gets worse offensively, and they're only averaging 12.8 points per game on the road this season. At home, the Cleveland defense has held 2 opponents out of the end zone this year, and this could be a third. I'm not sure if Arizona's getting to double digits in this one. Cardinals under team total of 14.5 is your power play of the week. And that does it for the Power 5 for week 9 of the NFL season. Check me out on X at Bryan Power _wins. That's Bryan Power _wins. Excuse me, almost coughed there. Be sure to take advantage of that end of year special. Again, WT.buzz/BP is the place to go for all of my client selections this weekend. 26, 12-1 all sports run, 6-2 last 8 in the NFL. Until next time, let's cash some tickets.